Hi, I'm Fee. Thanks for taking a break with me. We'll be getting started right away with our feet hip-width distance apart. Shoulders roll and slide down and back, palms face forward. Close your eyes and take a moment to settle in and prepare yourself for a yoga class that's going to be very focused on opening up through our hips and through our shoulders, specifically designed for recovery from biking, but will also help you recover from anything you have been doing, whether that's sitting at a desk or running or swimming. We all hold a lot of tension in our hips. Couple deep breaths together, controlling our breath, maybe for the first time today. On an inhale, raise your arms up, gaze up, drop your left hand down, tilt over to the left, reaching up through your right hand. Gaze up if you can. It just got super sunny, so I am closing my eyes. Back up to center, tilting over, side bend to the other side with the option to bring your right hand to your left hip. Gazing high, trying not to come over here and really lift up and back, stacking shoulder blades. Back up to center, bowing forward, bending at the hips, bending at the knees. Plant your right hand down, lift up through your left side, popping out that right knee in front of your left knee. Stack the shoulder blades, gaze up if you can to the sky. Deep breath on your exhale, plant the left hand. Pop the left knee out, stack shoulder blades. Opening up through our hamstrings. And twisting into our backs that are either hunched over at a computer or maybe hunched on a bike. Really important to twist and stay open. Plant that right hand down. Step your left foot back to high lunge, lower your knee to low lunge, lighten up on your fingertips, roll your shoulders back, light and high. Exhale, send your hips back. Feel free to have a lot of bend in that right knee. Aim to have your right toes pointing upward. Inhale. Exhale, sink back down into your low lunge. Light on your fingertips, maybe even letting them come off of your mat. Exhale, slide back. Toes point upward. Come forward, back to that lunge. Really sinking down here. Centering your weight right over your hips. Opening up a lot through that right hip flexor. Maybe wiggle your hips side to side. Tuck your left toes behind you and step forward back to your bent knee, forward fold. Inhale, raise back up. Repeat our side bends. First side bending over to the left. Exhale back to center. One breath each side. Inhaling, reaching over here to the right. And back to center. Fold forward. Plant your hands. Step your right foot back. High lunge. High lunge, drop your knee, untuck your toes, sink your hips down, roll your shoulder blades back, light on your fingertips. Wiggle your hips side to side. Send your hips back, toes point forward. Breathe deeply. Uh-oh. Ian, you're not supposed to be here. Come forward. Sink your hips down. Really breathing into any tightness you might feel here. And giving yourself a lot of credit for being in this position after maybe having gone on a long bike ride or having not stretched in a while. This is a hard pose, even though it's very simple. Plant your hands, raise your back knee up, and let's come back to our forward fold. Rest here. Clasp your hands behind your back. Lift. Sink your neck down. Bend your knees into a forward fold with a shoulder opener. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Wonderful. Plant your hands. Step left foot and then right foot back to high plank. Drop your knees. Send your hips forward. Line shoulder blades. Your shoulders over your wrists. Lower down. Coming to the ground. We'll bring our hands wider than the mat. And then slowly wiggle your way up. I'd like to imagine myself as a worm coming out of the earth, which is very fitting for being in front of my garden. There's lots of worms in there. So you're a worm emerging from the earth, and the same way you came up, you come back down. We'll do that one more time. Really going up slow so you're able to really feel your way into your shoulders, into this pretty intense heart opener, and then come back down. Recenter your hands underneath your shoulder blades. Come up to your knees. Tabletop, tuck toes under, downward facing dog. Walk out your feet here. Couple deep centering breaths and down dog. Lift up through your left leg. Even hips. Exhale, stack hips. Open up through that left knee. Paint 2 circles clockwise, 2 circles counterclockwise. As you finish your second circle, step your foot to your left hand. Move that left hand inside of your left foot. High lizard, gaze forward. Option here to do mini push-ups down, lowering a little bit deeper into your lizard. As you come too low, you push up. Option to come into a full lizard here. It's a little too intense for me with how tight my hips are, so I'm going to stay high. Also, option to drop that right knee, untuck the toes, and to really sink down through that right hip. You can still do these little mini push-ups with the knee down. Back high on that right knee. Step your right foot. Walk your right hand in. Step your right foot forward. Yoga squat. Sink hips down. Press knees open. Gaze forward. Palms pressed together. 2 cycles of breath in yoga squat. Option to wiggle your hips here. Have movement or stillness. Your choice. Drop your hands. Point your toes forward as you slowly raise up into a bent knee, slightly wider forward fold. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, forward. Plant your hands, bend your knees, step feet back, high plank. Drop your knees, lowering down, shoulders over wrists, lowering down. Inhale, baby cobra. Roll your shoulders back, gaze forward, engage your core. Exhale, release down. Bend your knees, reach back for your ankles. We're going to be coming into bow pose. In bow pose, it's all about the pressure of your ankle to your hand. This resistance creates this really wonderful quad stretch and heart opener. You can stay here and low in bow pose, or you have the option to lift up through your chest. And if you're really feeling up for it, lift up. Lift your quads off of your mat. Exhale, release. Release your hands, drop a cheek to your mat. Couple recovery breaths. And then when you're ready, we'll go back into bow pose one more time. Option here to raise all the way up and roll over to a side, creating a little bit more of a shoulder opener. You can stay low here. You can keep it just quad stretch. Pretty intense. One more breath. Release back down. Other cheek to your mat. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press up, tabletop. Roll through down dog. This time lifting up through our right leg. Hips even, and then stacked, bent knee. Knee circles clockwise 2, counterclockwise 2. Step, foot to right hand. Bring your right hand inside of your right foot. High lizard pose. Gaze is forward. Begin with our mini lizard push-ups. Sinking down as much as feels good. Option to drop that knee. Whatever way you can do it with the best technique, the best alignment. Stay high if that is a better stretch for you. Going low is not always better, especially if you are a big cyclist. You can really have some tightness here, and you want to help yourself, not hurt yourself. So listen to your breath, listen to your body. Couple more lowers down, maybe all the way down. And then when you're ready, we're going to step that left foot to your left hand, coming in back into our yoga squat. Pose that's in almost every one of my videos because I love it so much. There's so much going on here. Try to really be sitting tall. Always an option to put a blanket, a pillow, or a bolster under your sit bones. Drop your hands, raise up. Forward fold. Drop your neck, full release. Hands to your hips, bend your knees all the way up to standing. Feet recenter. Ankles under hips. Gaze up. With your hands on your hips, we're going to step our left foot back into a high lunge. Drop that left ankle, heel down, raise your arms up, Lower down, warrior one, for one cycle of breath. Back to high lunge. Lower your hands, come forward, warrior three. Airplane-like pose. Your left leg is elevated. You're creating almost an L shape with your legs. Your arms can be behind you, out to the side, or in front of you. Find what feels best for you. The goal is balance, strength, and relaxation. Bend through that right knee, and we're going to raise up to standing without touching the left foot down, ideally. Coming up slow. Lift that left knee into your chest. Hug it in. Lower left ankle to right knee. Figure four. Sink down through your right leg. Option to bring hands to heart center. And then rest your forearms on your leg. Option to fold all the way forward if that's within reach. It's a little too much for me right now. You can use that to help your balance though. Beautiful. Come back up. Knee to chest. Release. Shake it out. We're going to do the other side. Hands to your hips. This time, right leg comes back to a high lunge. Nice and tall through your upper body. Drop that right heel to your mat. Raise your arms up. Full warrior one, one breath. End of your exhale, you're floating forward, lifting that right foot up and back. Your foot is flexed and imprinting on an invisible wall behind you. Hands experiment with the forward, airplane, back behind you positions. Without touching your foot down, ideally, we're bringing our right knee into our chest. Right ankle to left knee. Sink your hips, figure four. Lots of options here. You can stay tall, you can sink low, you can bring your hands all the way down to your mat. Just try to find some sort of balance and find your stretch. Don't worry if finding your balance includes grabbing onto the wall or a floor. All benefiting you. Come back up. Knee to chest. Lower right foot down. Shake it out. Deep breath. Arms at your side. Inhale, arms up to a T. Exhale, fold forward, bent knees. Right foot, left foot, back to high plank. Lower your knees, stack shoulders over wrists. Sink down. Pause for a moment, and then bring elbows under shoulders. Sphinx pose. Important to have your fingers spread as far apart as possible. Core is engaged. Heart is open. Gaze is forward. Breathe here. Release back. Bring hands under your shoulders. Back to tabletop. Slide back. Down dog. Lift your left leg up. Three-legged dog. Left knee into chest. Drop your leg, pigeon pose. First be tall, then sink as low as you would like. Option to do this on your back. Figure four on your back. Sink all the way down if you would like. Rest here for 5 breaths. extension on the left side. Raise up by lifting your right knee and back to three-legged dog. Back to downward dog. Lift up your right leg. Step right, pull right knee to right elbow, and then lower your shin down. Sink your hips down. Gaze high, and then fold forward. Relax and melt into this pose. Everything we did today was helping us open up through our shoulders and our hips, preparing ourselves for recovery and for our next big event, whether that's a bike ride, whether that's a big test or a big day at work, or a nice long run. We're being restored and repaired. Come back up with your hands. We'll sink that right hip down. Bring your left leg around, coming into seated position. Grow tall. Have your left ankle a little bit out in front, close to your right knee. Grow tall here, flat back. Minimal curl of the spine. Forward here. You can bring your arms out. And then as you grow as far as you can with the flat back, you can curl down. Drop your neck all the way. Come back up here. Other side. Tall, flat back, and then a final curl. Taking in any little change that might have happened during the practice, whether you feel calmer, your body feels calmer, you feel more restored. Soak it in and give yourself all the credit for it. Come back up. We'll come to a constructive rest on our backs. Coming for our final position of the practice. Hug your knees in. Arms come out to a T. Head lays back. Drop your knees over to the left. Gaze to the right. Deep breath here. And float to the other side. Gazing over to the left. Back to center. Feet are wider than hips. Knees drop inward. Right hand on your heart. Left hand on your belly. Couple final breaths here. And stay in constructive rest. You have the option to continue to rest and restore here. Go into full Shavasana if you have time. But whatever you choose to do next, I hope you have a wonderful day. And thank you for taking a break with me. You deserve it.